Let me. Oh man, I'm not even ready. I'm not
Are
even
you?
ready.
Are you not?
Hold on, go.
Who?
I already did it.
Who?
It already went live, Joey.
Oh my God, we're already live.
Oh dear.
And
Hey,
we're professionals.
I got it under control. I'm not gonna mess it up like y'all did last week. Oh, Welcome to Creative Makers Podcast, episode 106. I'm Joey with Steelblade Woodworks, and I'm joined by our host, Matt with Wacky Works, BJ with Byram's Custom Woodworks, and the most famous mustachio of them all, the wooden mustache. How's everybody doing?
Me.
That's you.
Howdy.
How's it going?
Ready?
I don't know. You rested up.
A little bit.
There we
I had
go.
to come back and save the catastrophe from last week.
There you go.
Hey.
That's a train wreck.
We're just trying to make it look just bad enough for you have to come back.
No, I don't know, but yeah. Anyhow,
Well, everyone heard one thing, and I heard another thing last week right before we started. So
Hey,
that caused-
buttons
that caused
buttons
a
were
little-
pushed.
Buttons
words
were
were
pushed.
said.
all I can remember is y'all were commenting, and I was like, "Don't you think you need to go live first? That might help. That might help if somebody goes
It was
live."
awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
We were trying a different intro format.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all sure? Y'all got it.
We definitely
Eventually.
got it.
You definitely got it. It's like, hey, hello everyone, we're here.
I think it's funny because before of it, like Matt was saying, things were said and half of us understood one thing because originally
Yes.
it was like, hey, who's gonna do the intro? And I hear Matt and I hear Mustache go, I guess you can do it.
Yeah, that's what I
And we're
heard.
like, okay, cool, sounds good. And then we get into it, and it's like, and both of us, like, I'm a second behind. I hear, welcome, blah. I'm like, and Matt and I are like looking at the street going, what? Okay,
we were
well,
taking turns.
But I could, all I could picture while I was watching this unfold, and I could see comments. I was like, these fools thought it's 7:00, and it just miraculously goes live, and they're sitting there thinking they're live.
hey,
they're not
Mustache was in
live.
charge.
No, we hit buttons.
We hit
were
buttons.
pressed.
It
We
just took
may
us
not
a-
have hit the right buttons, but buttons were pressed.
We're close.
Speaking about hitting the right buttons, I know how to push
Oh.
those buttons.
There you go.
Yeah, we're not getting into that. We're good.
I know. I'm talking about my wife.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then, anyhow, we'll let that go. We'll let that lay.
Okay.
So why don't we get going here?
Okay.
Yeah, let's get into that beautiful segment that we like to call What's Glue with You, sponsored by the greatest wood glue company out there, Boss Dog Wood Glue. I actually used some Boss Dog Wood Glue quite a bit this last week, but we're going to start it off because he wasn't here last week. We got some catching up to do. Mr. Joey,
Catching up.
everybody wants to know. I mean, come on, we got to know.
Actually, I got all my winnings from that estate sale. It was so difficult. I was leaving out of town Friday, and I got the call. They're like, "Hey, we got a delivery for you," and I'm like, "What?" I mean, literally, we're about to 30 minutes from leaving, and semi pulls up, offload the crate, and I threw it in the shop, and it was so hard. That was one that I really wanted to open, and I couldn't. And I had to let it sit. And it's one I didn't want to let marinate. And it had to marinate all weekend in the shop. And, but yeah, I did a private showing for Mr. Wackerly a while ago while I was sweating up a storm. And we were
music playing in the background. It was awesome.
I tell you what, Kamani needs Kamani needs to teach some people how to crate. Cause man, that crate was actually pretty good that he built. It's a dang good crate. No damage. Everything came the way it was supposed to. So we got to take a look at the tools that were in there and some nice stuff, really nice stuff in there.
Very
But
nice.
I haven't had a chance to do a whole lot. Been real busy with the job. I got another video out. I need to edit, get out for that laser, the Acmer laser that I have. It's been operating pretty good.
Oh.
Really happy with it. So that has to get done this week, and then I have a collaboration with Wall Control that's going to come up, and they sent out all the stuff to do it. It's going to be a pretty good project here in the office, so I'm kind of
Very nice.
wait to get that one done. So yeah, that's about it. How about you, Wackerly? What you got going on?
I had some stuff to do at the house. We had a water leak. Two fittings actually started leaking, so I had to fix those. And then in the midst of that, fittings being fixed, I guess the toilet needed to be put in because I guess we needed a new one. And I don't know how that works. They flush. I think they work. But put a new toilet in as well, new gasket, everything for it. So that's all been put in, and that's about really all I got done. Except for I did finish the giveaway that we had.
Ooh.
I finished this right here, got it all turned out and finished.
So pretty.
So it'll be sent to her. Actually, we give it to her. She's on vacation this week, so I'll give it to her on next week, which I believe your molds will be coming in on Monday. So I'll just kind of give it all to her on that date there. So yeah, that's all I've gotten done really. What about you, Mustachio?
But just real quick,
yeah,
I was telling him he was doing all this stuff. I was talking to him this weekend off and on, and I'm like, you're slowly that's karma coming back to you. Because of the backsplash incident that you did to me. So little by little, he's getting paid back.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Simple stuff.
Let's see. I moved some stuff around in the shop. I actually fired up the laser last night. I have some tumblers I got to do for my father's wife, and I haven't used these cups before. I think she got them from BJ's, if I remember correctly.
What'd you do?
I don't know cups. What?
Well, they came from your store, so
like BJ's Brew House, or is there a store called BJ's?
There's actually it's like a store
that's
called BJ's.
Wholesale.
Yeah. Wholesale club.
Oh, okay. Must not be a Texas thing.
It is.
I thought that was nationwide. No. But yeah, so I think she gave me six of them. I only have to do like 2 or 3 cups. So I haven't run that laser in a really long time, or a material test either. And I completely messed up with sizing that on the cup. Like it almost goes 3/4 around the cup, the grid that I did on it, and it originally just did an outline on the box, and I was like, oh, I want you to like fill that in. So I restarted the job. I didn't take it out of the chuck or anything yet, and I looked at how far it had gone in like 10 minutes or something. I was like, oh my gosh, went back into Lightburn, and it said it was going to take like 5.5 hours or something.
Oh
God.
And well, that was also with a crosshatch. So I decided, I was thinking about stopping it, and then I'd have that wasted cup. I just hung on and went to bed very late this morning, waiting for that to finish. And it was a decent test. I don't know. I'm not sure. I should have checked the lens. I didn't look at that before I started the burn. But I found some of the speed and powers look decent. So I'm gonna mess around with that a little bit more. Hung my Boss Dog banner in the back. Got some 3D printing and models done this past week, and yeah, that's it for me. What about you, BJ? What's glue with you?
Well, I got something to show off. I showed Matt this last night. Joey, you'll probably like this too. I picked up a new little thing for my Osmo Pocket. If it will focus, I'll guess.
Put your hand behind it.
I got a light.
Ooh, a little light. Oh,
Maybe
nice.
I'll get out of the picture. Yeah,
That's what was messing it up. You were in the picture. That's what.
It likes those little rosy red cheeks. It likes those rosy red cheeks.
Uh-huh.
To focus on them.
Hey, don't make fun of my rosacea. So yeah, I picked that up this week off TikTok shop. It was like $10. So time will tell if it's actually decent quality. It comes with a secondary ring that goes around just below the gimbal, and you can stick your mic to it, which is nice. So you have the wind protection and all that. Or when you're not using it, you can just stick it to it.
Right.
But yeah, something give a little extra light in low light situations. And I figured, hey, for $10, why not?
Did you see the one on TikTok that you could put the DJI on it, but also it has a spot for your phone where you can have it horizontals and it auto tracks you?
Yes, I was looking at getting that, and I never could go back and find it.
Me neither. I had it in the cart and I don't know what I was doing. I deleted it and I haven't been able to find it again. And I was like, God, dog it. That was a cool one. And it was cheap.
That would be nice. Yeah.
I think it was only like $20 or so. It was on sale.
Yeah. So
I just thought
that would be nice.
Me of that.
So you're not looking at that little bitty screen on the camera. You have your phone to manipulate it. And did a little laser maintenance. I finally, over winter, because we had all the freeze issues, I put antifreeze in my laser and I was like, and it was pretty heavily diluted because it's like a 2-to-1 ratio, I think is what you mix it at. And got to do some research and found out that RV antifreeze will crystallize. If it's not running constantly, it will crystallize. So wife had to run to the dollar store today, so I had her pick me up some distilled water. So did that, flushed the system to get all that out, did a test, and then in doing the test, I saw a video from Lightburn this week talking about aligning the camera within Lightburn. Mm-hmm. And I've noticed the last couple engravings that I've done, and even just cuts, because I align everything with my camera. I know it's a little more basic. I'm not aligning with Origin or whatever, but it works. It's quick, it's easy, and it works. But I've noticed that I've been off by almost 1/4 of an inch in some of my cuts. So I did a design, just a square with a circle and a line through it, engraved it, and then came back. And what I love about Lightburn is when you're using the camera, you can adjust the X and Y on the camera to realign it.
Oh.
And so you engrave or you cut whatever you're going to cut, and then you go back to the camera and you tell it to update the camera feed. And so it puts it back on your workspace, and you can look at, okay, here's the picture that I wanted to cut, and then here's the engraving. And then you can adjust the X and Y to get it back to where it needs to be. And, because you got to figure every time you open that lid, that camera, even though it's pretty tight, it can move a little. So it got that dialed in within, I'm probably maybe 1/100th of an inch off, if that. So, it's good enough for government work, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Cleaned up some stuff, just vacuumed out the bed, and moved some stuff around. Got my drill press in its final for now, final location. Just so I'm not sharing plugs with other stuff. Got all the parts in to get it fully working. Got the chuck key in. Found out that the chuck did need a little bit of TLC, but got it unstuck. And what else have I been doing? Oh, I am almost finished with the 2 Chaos cutting boards that I was working on. I wanted to put a frame around them. And as we all know, you can't do edge grain frame with an end grain cutting board. So I had to, glue up some end grain and then glue it to it, which I got to figure out a better way to do that. But got the frame on it, and I just got to finish sanding them, and they're good.
Can't frame chaos.
Hey, I'm trying to, but yeah, I was a little disappointed. Just like I said, this is the first chaos board I've ever done, and I was trying to go for a thicker board, and I ended up both boards came out to about 1.25 inches thick. So not super thick for a good heavy cutting board, but I figured it'd be a decent like vegetable cutting board or kind of a light use cutting board. I want to try to get out to the lumberyard here in the next couple of weeks and just grab like, one board of every hardwood they've got, and then make a couple more, because they're fun to make and they look cool, and people really seem to enjoy them. So make a couple more of those, but yeah, that's about it. Used a lot of Boss Dog wood glue.
Nice.
On this one. So yeah. And I did, it was kind of cool because, one of the things we all love about Boss Dog is they have the colored, the pigmented glue for specific types of wood. Yeah. I did the opposite. So any of my light glue ups, I used the brown. Ooh. And then any of my dark glue ups, I used the tan. And so when it's all sanded and everything, you have to look at it to see it, but you do see that, little hint of a line from the darker and the lighter glue. It actually, it turned out really nice. And I was thinking about doing like a walnut cutting board with all tan glue to see maybe if it gave you a,
you can see those lines.
See how it turns out.
Highlight
just hey, we've got it. Why not try something new with it?
Yeah.
But yeah,
definitely.
So, but yeah, that's about it. Mustache, you got some peoples you want to thank.
I do. We have some awesome people out there that signed up for our Patreon and are helping us pay for things and just being awesome people. So I will start off with Scott from Willow Creek Lumber, Don from What's Next Woodworking, Victor from Whim Design, and Steve from Steve I Design. We thank you and the other folks that are helping us. And if you want to join, we have some cool things coming up, which will be announced very soon. And yeah.
There you go. And, go ahead.
I was going to say, and to all our patrons out there, we do have the Discord up and running, so let's get in there. Let's use it. We want to see what's going on in everybody's shops. It's an easy way. I mean, other than just Instagram, to get in touch with us. We have a whole podcast section in there if you want to throw out ideas for podcasts. The challenge is still running. If we pick your idea, you get to force Joey to open a box.
Oh, that's something. Wow.
Wait. Wait a minute.
Doesn't have to
be. They get to choose. They get
Joey,
to choose too.
No. Joey gets to choose the box. They just get to tell him to open a box.
Oh my God, I almost ended the stream. Y'all had me flustered there. I was trying to get back to comments, and I almost ended the thing.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, hello.
Just one box.
I wasn't a part of this. I had no idea about this.
Well, guess what? You are now.
That's why you got to get in. You got to be in that Discord.
But yeah, we need to make sure that all our members are on there. I don't see Greg Bennett in here. I think he was having some issues, and
We'll get with Greg and see if we can't.
Yeah.
I think Jason was having some issues too. I gotta circle back with him.
Yeah, but yeah, that's a cool little deal to utilize. You can show us your new tools, your unopened boxes, stuff like that. Great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're on open boxes.
Yeah.
And just a reminder, like BJ was saying, we do have that competition going on with Boss Dog Wood Glue till October 31st. We would love to see everybody enter in it and get excited. We're gonna probably come up and do some more things to get the word out further, and please share it. Get it out there. Let's get some people involved 100%. In this. It's a cool prize you're going to win, and it's a good thing to get the community involved and make some cool stuff. Be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, anything else we need to talk about? Nothing?
I think that's it right now.
It's Matt, don't look
you're
scared.
You're running the ship.
I'm not trying to. It's not a sign language for anything. I'm just asking, is there anything we're forgetting to talk about? No? Yeah. I can't hold up colors because that wouldn't work. But anyhow, let's I guess get into this topic.
Okay.
Evolution of our shop. Who wants to there's a who wants to start it? Who wants to talk about where you were, where you're at now, things you've changed, what you would change?
Well, I guess I can start it off with just evolution of shops. I started in a 400 square foot garage, no AC, still things Joey's dealing with.
He's got AC. He's got AC.
He just doesn't have it installed.
Now that is one. That is one that's been marinating for years.
It's over marinated. I don't think it can marinate anymore.
Oh, there's probably no Freon left in it.
It's absorbed everything. Yeah, probably.
And the insulation is there.
On the box.
The insulation is right next to it too. I don't know why I'm marrying.
Found dead.
Yeah. It's already deteriorated. Still in the plastic wrapper it's in. I'm saving it.
Uh-huh. He ain't wearing the white dress anymore. Come on, bud.
No. But yeah, and that's the thing. Is like, we see a lot of people out there and a lot of our subscribers that have those small shops. And when I first started, my goal was everything was mobile because I wanted to be able to get both cars in the garage.
Mm-hmm.
And even without, my tools in there, it was still a tight fit for our cars to get in there. But I had everything mobile. And then eventually it was, I want to upgrade my table saw. I want to upgrade this. And then it was, okay, no cars parked in the garage anymore. And then I was fortunate enough to be able to rent a roughly 1,800 square foot building, which I would love to have a giant shop, but I've learned for myself, as ADHD as I am, the bigger the space I have, the more projects I can work on. And so you end up with 5 or 6 different projects. And then it was, oh, look, I have room to store more lumber. I have more room to store this and do this. And it got to be, it was overkill. And it made me realize that, about 1,000 square foot is as big as I'd ever want to go for the wood shop.
Was that shared? Was that shared with anyone else, or was it just you?
It was all me. It was 1,800
wow.
square feet just for me, and it was nice because it had 2 full bathrooms in it. Because the building originally was a CrossFit gym, and so when they set it up for a CrossFit gym, it had 2 full bathrooms. It had a laundry room, so if you want to put a washer and dryer in there. Had 220. Not that I ever used it for anything. But in the summertime it was hot, in the wintertime it was cold. It just because it was insulated, but it didn't have heat or air in there. But it was so much room. And I had room to park my truck in there if I wanted to. I could park my trailer in there. But my shop now is just under 800 square feet. And to me, it's perfect. I can move, adjust stuff around, and I have room. I'm never really fighting for room. So that's kind of my basic evolution of my shop, and we can get into tools and everything later too. So
when I started off at my old place, 24 by 40, 960 square feet or so, somewhere around there. And it served dual purpose. Lawnmowers, it had everything in there. Some metal fabbing equipment, and then the majority of it was woodworking stuff. But it was total chaos in it. Nothing was set up correctly. And back then, there wasn't social media. If there was, it was just like coming out, and as you started seeing stuff and YouTube started becoming a thing, you started seeing people setting up their shops and different type of tools they were using. And you start, seeing like, oh man, that works better, but at first when you didn't know any better, what was, setting up your miter saw, the flow, what the hell's flow? You put it where you could put it. This chop saw here, table saw over there, joiner across the shop, and it was a bunch of little, at first, when I first started off, it was just the old Craftsman job site saw looking one, right? And then, Harbor Freight chop saw, and then little by little I think the first major tool that I purchased was a Grizzly bandsaw, which I still have. Love it. And then, of course, into that, then I bought a lathe because that was kind of a left field deal. I wanted to do some turning, and I got that. And then a joiner came in. But little by little, I was upgrading in that old shop, and then it really quickly became, packed. I mean, it probably was there was a lot of room in there. And there was a lot of junk, a lot of stuff. It wasn't set up correctly, Then you learn about dust collection. Like, what the heck was dust collection back then? I didn't know anything about it. Then you start slowly get introduced, and they start telling you why you need it. And I'm like, well, I need to do that. And boy, if I had pictures of my first setup, it would be horrible how I had that stuff set up. Pipe everywhere. I had no clue. But over the years, you start learning and you start picking up techniques, and you start, okay, I don't need this stuff. Hence why the scroll saw holds the door open. This is one thing I didn't need, and that kind of got put to the side, and you move on, and just, I didn't, those are tools I didn't really need. That was one that I really didn't need. But anyways, moving on. Now that I've gotten into this, I built this barn, and if I could do it all over again, I would not build it so tall.
Mm-hmm.
How tall is it now?
16 foot to the bottom of the rafters.
Good grief.
Absolutely too tall to try to hang anything. I mean, it's going to take, you got to have a pretty good sized ladder, and it's just too tall. I told Matt, if I did it all over again, the max 10-foot ceilings, I wouldn't go any taller. Would not go any taller than that. and that still gives you plenty of room to hang dust collection overhead and then come down to equipment, even over a CNC. That's plenty of room. So I would not go any taller than that. You've learned a lot of things as far as routing power. You know, if you have the time to lay out, look, there's my wife saying, don't get no ideas. If you have the time and you're building a new shop, absolutely put some power ports in the slab.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
If you can get your shop set up and know where like your table saw is going to go, or if you're going to do clusters like planer joiner, that kind of stuff clustered together in spots, which I really like Jay Bates does, like Jason Bentz does, you know, they cluster those pieces of equipment, put your power underground. You're going to, it's going to save a lot of time, expense, because you can run conduit straight to the box instead of having to go along the wall, up the wall, over the, you know, through the ceiling. Copper's expensive. When you could go from point A to point B straight in an angle, that saves a lot on copper. Just those kind of things that I've learned over the years, really putting thought into it before you just build it. Cause that's where I've gotten in trouble, is just starting to build stuff and not put thought into those kind of things.
Well, and that's where, like, you know, like what Matt does and Jason Bentz do, and, you know, just having the ability to use like SketchUp to design your shop. And that's one thing that my electrician, before, you know, we came in and rewired my shop, he, you know, I told him, it's like, hey, I have the floor plan laid out. I have where all my tools are going to go. And he was able to go in and look at that and go, oh, this is wonderful. You know, so you know exactly where tools are going to go. Now, in my case, unfortunately, because it was already a built building, I couldn't run power through the slab, but he was able to come, like, for my main island, I have a drop from the ceiling that's got a tension wire on it that, you know, it feeds, and it's close enough to where I can run it down my dust collection line, so it's not hanging out in midair. But it's, you know, having that ability to design your layout before you wire everything up, or even before you build the shop, to know how everything's going to fit. You know? Yeah,
I mean, and it gives you a starting point, right? You know that you're going to set stuff up, and I've heard like Spagnola say he likes to get into a space and just live there for a little bit. Set your tools up where you think you're going to need it, but don't make it permanent, because you're going to start working in it, and your shop's going to evolve, right? And you're going to be like, you know, I want this over here now. This is going to work better with the flow. And I think I've even saw a post that he made here recently, this over the weekend, that he's already thinking about moving stuff around, and that helps. Where you kind of get in trouble, though, when you start moving big equipment that takes, you know, 220, that kind of stuff, that, you know, you need to be real mindful, because that's expensive. That's expensive to move power wise, you know, because that, you know, rerunning wire like that, it gets very expensive, breakers, plugs, etc. Right. And I just wanted to touch back. And one of the reasons building a shop so high, you always got to keep in mind, if you're going to climate control it, that's more space you need to heat and cool.
Oh yeah.
So how would I know? How would I know? Just over the years of conversation.
Okay.
Boy,
Okay.
You almost made me cuss. You almost made me cuss.
I couldn't help that one.
I know you couldn't. You never can. But you know, keeping that in mind, because it is true. You know, that makes your units that you have to buy a lot bigger, which is cost. That's more cost. Going to consume more electricity to keep that climate control where you need it. So there's a lot of things to keep in mind. Insulation wise, you know, you have a bigger shop, more insulation. And insulation, those things that used to be cheap are not cheap anymore. They're expensive.
No.
And they're probably going to stay that way. So it's a costly deal. So you want to really line everything out and know where everything's going, so you don't overbuy on certain things like that.
And that's where I lucked out. Oh, sorry, Matt.
No. Go ahead. I want you guys to get up because I got ready to come out.
Yeah,
So.
just feeding off of what Joey said about heating and cooling, because my shop's right at 800 square feet, but I've only got 8-foot ceilings.
Mm-hmm.
So when getting my mini split, realistically, if I had if 800 square foot area at 10-foot ceilings, I would have to go to a much higher level mini split. But because I've only got 8-foot ceilings, I can go down to what would really cover what they recommend for like a 600 square foot room.
Because it's based off cubic foot, not off square foot.
Yeah. And that's when I was talking to the mini split company, I was talking to Pioneer, they're quoting me out this thing. I was like, well, and then they asked, so how tall are your ceilings? I was like, 8 foot. Oh yeah, no. You don't need that one. You need this one. I was like, well, sweet. That's a couple $100 cheaper, at the end of the day. And it's cheaper to run. And they're like, yeah, you're good. But I'm with you on the 10-foot ceilings. I can't stand a sheet of plywood up in my shop, because it's not 8 foot. It's 7 foot. It's, 3/4 of an inch under 8 foot.
Yeah.
So it's,
I mean, those are the kind of things, you think, well, I got 8-foot ceilings. You take into consideration lights, dust collection pipe, everything that's going to be actually hanging down. Lights, you can secure them straight to the ceiling, but dust collection, all that stuff adds a distance in there. So now that shortens your height. So that's why I told Matt, if I ever did it again, I would not go over 10 foot. I don't think it's necessary. I think it's just a waste. Then now it's costing, because even 10 foot now, to get to that 10 foot for them to build that building, if you're going to go with the red iron barn and then reframe on the inside or have somebody build you a building, that's extra cost to get those longer pieces of lumber. Now you're either going to go, if you're going to go with extended 2x4 structured walls, or you're going to go with 2x6. 2x6 would help you out because now you can get a little more insulation in there. It'll help with efficiency. There's a lot of things to think about, to calculate when and this is not where we were wanting to go, but maybe I guess it fits in with this topic. But there's so many things that weigh in on certain things. And it's part of, like, when I left from the old shop coming to this new shop, I thought I had the perfect setup, and I don't. I thought I had it.
Now, could you come in and put in like a deck, like build an attic space?
I mean, it already has one. You can, but why? It's just more money just to be able to do that. And then you got to take into consideration those trusses are if you're going to build off those trusses are only engineered for a certain amount of weight.
Correct.
Yeah, so you got to be careful.
You'd have to have some kind of pier or something, or you'd have to have poles.
Yeah, and that's what you don't want to do. Yeah, that's what you don't want to do, because now that kind of screws your layout up. Yeah, your open space concept that you wanted. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of things to put into consideration. And my suggestion, if you're gonna do that at some point, you need to get with somebody to lay it out. Obviously, you're going to be talking with an architect or some sort of engineer if you're going to build this, because most places are going to require blueprints for permits and whatnot, that you take a lot of that into consideration. Those little things can save you a lot of money down the road.
What about you, Mustache?
Let's see. So I kind of was apartment surfing up until I bought this house in 2012. Girlfriend at the time, we split up and I became a bachelor. And a friend of mine, Mike, I've mentioned him a few times in the past, he ended up moving in, and he's super handy. My shop was completely uninsulated. Nothing on the walls, nothing on the ceiling. And, he brought all his tools over. He was a contractor at the time. And he's like, let's get this garage tight. And we put up like fire code sheetrock I eventually took the sheetrock down, and I have 3/4 inch ply everywhere. It's on all the walls. The ceiling, I did those little like U plastic chases that will vent from the soffit up to your ridge vent. Put those in, and then I did some bat insulation. I want to say it was like R13 or something. And then I did that 2-inch foam board, that pink foam board. I just had probably 5 to 10 sheets of that, the 4x8 sheets, and I just cut that, slammed that all up on the ceiling. It's okay. I feel like it could be a little better, which is kind of why I bought that FLIR FLIR thermal camera, just to kind of like show me on hot days, cold days, where I have some voids and stuff. I still obviously have more projects over the wall that goes into the house. That's still all the pink board. It's just like a few pieces. So I want to rip that down and actually like frame that with 2x4s and put some plywood up. But I need access up to that. So I need to build like a little access panel door and everything else for that.
Me too.
Mike, reach out to me. I'll show you what I did if you're curious. But I didn't have a ton. I didn't have a ton of tools when I first started off. I think I just had like miter saw, table saw, a few random things. Like Mike and I would just kind of, if he didn't have something, I would get it, and if I didn't have something, he would get it, and we just kind of traded off stuff. Once he moved out, that was kind of a loss. But I've slowly kind of put the tools that I need into the shop as I need them, and everything's changing. Like everything on wheels, I've tried a few different layouts with like having the workbench up against the wall, having it in the middle, having it spun around, using it as an outfeed table. Like my shop is probably like 250 square feet with a 1-car garage. And everything on wheels for me is so much better. Because like in the winter time, sometimes I would bring my wife's car in just to get one vehicle out of the driveway. It makes using the snowblower so much easier in a big storm and stuff. So I don't think with what I have in there now, that can really happen. Her car is pretty dang long to fit in that garage. So, but yeah, I'm sure in 5 years, if we're still in this house, it'll be totally different from what it is today. Also, we're always changing everything.
It's always, insulation's always a big thing, especially like on shops. What do you do? I know Wackerly and I when I was getting real hot and heavy, and it almost happened. I almost took the air conditioners out of the box and put the insulation up. We researched and we found a company, since these rafters are so far apart. When they built this pole barn, we found a company that actually makes a insulation that has it's kind of like a real thick mill plastic that hangs. It's made to hang between rafters. So those you actually, they send you all the deals. So basically what you're doing is you're making yourself an attic space. If you can, because you're going to hang it on the bottom side of the rafters, and they send everything you need. And it was actually, I don't know what it costs now. It was actually very reasonable. I think to do this 40 by 80 barn, I think it was about $2,000, which is cheap at the time.
Yeah.
Considering, and you basically are making an attic, and that's the best way. If you can keep that heat up there and able to exhaust it out, it's going to be real efficient inside your shop, rather than trying to leave it open. and insulate right underneath the tin or the shingles, whatever you're trying to do, because you're not creating somewhat of an attic space. So all that heat's just rising, and if you have no way to exhaust it out, now your ACs are just working trying to cool this place, and you're having to cool a lot more. So now when you thought like what you're saying, you're thinking, oh, well, I've got 1,400 square feet. I just need enough AC to cool 1,400 square feet. No, it's not how that works. So when you could take that variable out, the height, and build yourself an attic and be able to exhaust that heat out, and at the same time in the winter, you can control it, that helps out a lot. So that's a way to think about it, insulating that way. Go ahead, Matt.
No, I mean, we could have a whole entire podcast about how we insulate and how to move air and get people like Mike on here to explain more about air conditioners. I went overkill on mine. My shop, I went way overkill, and I did it for a reason. I have two 24,000 BTU units sitting inside my shop that I cool down. It's only 1,200 square feet. I have them at 10 foot. My top of my ceiling height, or my bottom of my wall height, is 12 foot, 15.2 in the center. I have 6 inches of insulation with a I think it's a 16. I want to say 16 mil vapor barrier, sealed up, taped up on every single joint, all the way around the whole entire shop, all the way up the roof, everything. It's a steel building. I framed it all out on the inside. But where I started from, and that's like everybody else, I'll tell you where I started from. I started from a Connex. I had a little small 40-foot Connex, and that's where I started. My shop started from. I was 15 and bought a Connex. That's where all my stuff stayed. Shared it with my stepdad. And we'd pull everything out to be able to use it, because it was too small to be able to cut it. You couldn't cut anything inside of it. So everything had to come out and out in the driveway. And that's what we worked off from. And that's where I started building speaker boxes and doing all the stuff I used to do. And then I got married. I didn't have that. I had a bedroom that I stored all my stuff into. And my wife got tired of that, and she said, build a shop. And so that's where my shop came from, 1,200 square foot. And she's the one that actually suggested a steel building. I could get a steel building cheaper than I could get a frame it up out of wood at the time. And so if actually it's Olympia Buildings, if you ever want to look them up, they have clearance sales where they sell buildings, complete packages, insulation, whole 9 yards, everything, except for the doors. They don't do the doors. They don't do any kind of thing like that. So you just tell them you want a 3.0 door here, 3.0 door here, 10 door here, whatever you want, and they'll give you all the framing for it. Now they have a lie on their package that says 2 men in a ladder could put that up in a weekend.
Yeah, right.
Ain't gonna happen.
two of their men who do it all the time can do it.
Maybe, but it took. I mean, it took me, my wife, and my daughter to stand all of the main pillars, get them all down. I had a bunch of buddies come in. We poured all the concrete in one day, and got everything done. Dogs walked across it. But anyways, where I came up with designing for my shop. What's that?
Paint spill.
Yeah. But anyway. So where I came up with design in mind is I thought about other shops I've been in. I've thought about where tools are used. Mm-hmm. So the very first thought is everybody wants to put their receptacles at 18 inches. Well, when you put your receptacles down there, I put everything at 4 foot, and it's exactly at 4 foot. So all I do is make a notch out of my plywood. My next sheet sits right on top of it. It's easy to lay out all the way across. So that was one of my first thoughts. And then I ran everything with my receptacles for my 110, and I only put 6 receptacles on each plug, on each circuit. But then I put 220 in between that. because I knew I was going to have 220 running in my shop. So I had my lathes at 220, my joiners at 220, my planers at 220, all my table saws at 220, dust collection 220. So I wanted to make sure I had dedicated circuits for that, so like I could turn on 2 of them at a time at least, and I wouldn't have a problem.
Yeah.
So power was an issue. I wanted to make sure I had power, so I made sure I had a 200 amp service put in my shop. And then so all my wiring, I want to make sure all that was done first. So my insulation's up, my wiring's up, everything's there. And then I framed out in between studs or in between steel beams when I did all my stuff, and I started laying out what I wanted. What did I want here? What do I want here? What do I want here? And the biggest mistake I made, and it's where I disagree with Joey and what he just said, is I would run a chase instead of running conduit underneath. So with a chase being like a U-shaped concrete channel with a steel plate above it, means
so
that way I can access my dust collection. I can access my wire. So if I want to change out wiring, if I want to change up what I'm doing, I have the ability to change, because I don't care any of us in this room right here or in this podcast or anybody inside the chat, we have changed our shop like we change underwear. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We move it around constantly. So if you have that chase there, you have that ability to move things around, move your dust collection, add points onto it. It would make it so much easier. So I wish I wouldn't have been talked out of doing that chase, and I got talked out of doing that.
So here's one thing I've been thinking about, because I'm always kind of designing my dream shop in my head. We've talked about max ceiling height, running stuff under the floor. What if, say, you did 12-foot walls? Okay,
that's what I would do.
So hear me out. 12-foot walls, and then did a false floor. So like you have in like IT buildings and stuff like that, where stuff runs through the floor. So you have a false floor sitting on top of the slab. It could be a foot thick or whatever, and everything runs under the floor. And if you need to change it, you just lift the floor panels up, and then you're good. I know those floors are a little louder when you walk across them. But I mean, you could do like what I'm doing with the stall mats. You could put those over that, so that deadens that noise. But yeah, if you had some kind of, and you wouldn't have to do that necessarily. You could frame out like a 2x6 floor or something, or a 2x10 floor. And so you have everything running through there. And so, yeah, you just pull a sheet of plywood up, or however you need to do it, so you can do stuff. What am I overthinking that, or is that something?
I think it's a good idea, but it would have to be built. So it would have to be heavily built because of the weight, so that one thing you could keep.
You'd be on 12-inch
floor level.
You'd have to be on 12-inch centers, yeah.
I mean, it definitely have to be shortened down, and I just think that just to be able to withstand the weight of all the tools that are going to be there.
It's sitting directly on the floor, and if you're doing a 3/4 inch plywood top for it,
I mean, but then why even? Okay, so let me spin it to you this way: why even build a concrete slab? Why wouldn't you build like a pier and beam type shop, and just have like a entry?
Engineer trusses across it. And
be done with it. Why would you go through the trouble of pouring a slab just to build another floor on top of it?
Yeah,
so you have like a crawl space. Then save you money, because foundation slab is pretty pricey nowadays. Yeah, I think it's over $125 a yard, probably $150, depending on where you're at.
Yeah, because you just have to do the perimeter for the walls. That's all you'd really be worried about.
No, you'd run beams down the center. It'd be smart to run pier beams just all the way down the center, and then all you're doing is laying out your joist all from it. So instead of running it on top of trying to go that whole entire span, or
you probably have a couple beams depending on the size of the shop. Okay. Yeah, I mean, and that would work because then if you need to, say if you go from 4-inch dust collection to 8-inch,
Right. You can just change.
you're going to have,
Yeah.
and then you're going to have to dig out some dirt to fit that bigger pipe in, possibly.
But you got to remember, like Mike's saying down below, you got to make sure you have your moisture barrier as well. So your moisture barrier is going to be sitting on top of your subgrade, and so you don't want to be digging out dirt. You want to make sure your joists are high enough.
Yeah, if you do 2x12, if you do 12, 2x12 joists,
you'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
As long as you're not cutting out joists to be able to.
You know what? Yeah, that's
see, and that was kind of my that's where my thought process of having the sub slab, having an actual concrete slab, because then if you had to cut joists, you're not weakening that joist because the joist is sitting on the slab.
And that's still where I come back to just running it a chase. If you run a chase in your slab, so your slab comes down and it goes down deeper where this chase is at. And now I can run my conduit in it. I can run my dust collection in it. I can run anything I want to it.
So I'm over engineering, overthinking it. So yeah, a chase would definitely be the better route.
It's not that it's a bad way to go. It is another way to go.
Yeah.
Now, hell, if you win the lottery, just make you a basement underneath, and then you don't have no problems.
Then you can
it would take winning the lottery to build a basement here in Texas.
I'm just going to go play it and win. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then you just have your basement. You can walk down in there. It's climate controlled. And you just change everything out as you want.
So getting back into it, another reason why I went higher with my AC. First of all, I like it cold. But secondly, I knew I wanted to do something with resin. And so I did not want my temperatures to get elevated. And I knew I was going to have to keep them cooler, especially if I was going to do large pours. And so instead of like making a cooling table in a special room just for that, I thought the whole entire thing, that'd be a great thing. If I had to do it over again, I would make a specialty room just for doing resin pours, because then I can just cool just that room, and I don't have to stop working on what I'm doing, and I can continue working in the shop.
So y'all know Ahanui Designs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the original Ahanui, John Graff, the guy who created the molds. So his shop, he has a room specifically for that. And if I remember correctly, he went larger on the mini split in there. So he can get it. And I've been in that room when he's getting ready to do a pour, and you need a jacket. I mean, it gets cold in there, but that's so he could do, massive pours, keep it cold. So you're not worried about stuff going exothermic or anything like that. And it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that compressor room, I see. I would put mine on a lean-to on the outside. And that way it's outside. I don't have to hear it. And then I just put inline air dryers and be done with it.
And put everything out there. Dust collector, everything.
No.
Yeah, the problem with that is you're sucking your air. You're sucking your air out of your shop.
Put a return.
Well, back inside. That would work.
I'm not saying,
but you're still getting noise from that return.
Yeah, it's fine. But if you built just a box, so if you put your dust collector outside,
hold on.
Okay.
But it's like we're not shops that are, well, at least me, we're not shops that are running that dust collector 8 hours a day straight. Every time you turn a piece of equipment on, it sucks and then it turns down. So returns, really, you're not going to be sucking out. You're going to do like a 10-minute process or so and then shut it down.
Okay. So let's do the math.
Here we go.
If I'm sucking out 1,700 cubic feet per minute. Okay.
But we're talking one port, man.
One port is
still
out 1,700 cubic feet per minute. Okay. You suck that out of your shop. That's 1,700 cubic feet of conditioned air that you just sucked out that dust collector.
Okay, we don't have to talk about math.
Yes.
Problem solved right there. Thank you.
That's exactly what I was going into that
But-
you cut me off on. That's what I was saying. If you put
Yeah.
put the filters back into the shop into a box, you're then deadening the sound because you can insulate it. You can deaden the sound and still bring the air back in the shop.
Yeah.
And that would be fine.
So, like, for instance, today, like when I was running those test cuts
Who
on that
was that?
laser, April Wilkerson.
No, she did. She vented hers outside. I'm trying to remember the guy. We had him on the podcast. We talked to him forever.
The guy that does all the epoxy stuff.
No, I'll think of it in a second.
He did
but,
it. Yeah.
Yeah, but he did it. He put his dust collector outside and then ran his filters back inside.
So
the guy that does resin tables.
No,
Blacktail Studios. Yes, he put his outside.
he did that, but that's not the one. I know who Matt's talking about. That's not who he's talking about. He said talk to him for a while.
Yeah, he did his whole. He has a 3-car garage. That's his shop. Is a 3-car garage. And there,
Was it Jason?
No, I'll think of it in a minute. But anyways, I'm not stalling the podcast
Good.
to think about this.
So, like today, running those test cuts, 5 minutes each on those engravings, having my laser venting outside. That first 5 minutes that it ran and exhausting outside, my shop temperature went up 3 degrees. So it went from 75 to 78 degrees because I was pulling air out of the shop.
Dang, Joey, can you imagine if you did that and yours went up 3 degrees?
Maybe I should just turn my dust collector on and it'll suck all the heat out. It'll be good.
like a whole home fan.
Yeah, the ceiling on the second floor.
Yeah.
Well, it would come in handy if you had that where you could switch it, where you could have it like on nice days when you got all the doors open, just have it vent outside to no filter.
That's
And
what
then
April did.
And then those days, like if you ever get in there with spray paint or you're spraying some finish that's a little noxious, you turn it on, suck all the air out, and then you're good.
So for people that don't have air conditioning, like say Joey, there is an alternative.
Jab.
No, it's not a jab. It's pretty cheap. I think ours is 48 inches in diameter. Fan that's got louvers on it, and then it's got a sensor on it that automatically senses this temperature in the shop, and it kicks the fan on, opens the louvers up, and pulls the air out. And basically, you're pulling air through the shop, which will help cool off your shop.
I've actually been thinking about putting one of those in my attic above my shop.
Correct, and they're made there. That's what they're kind of made for. It's for attic space. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of like an exhaust fan. It's big, industrial size, I guess. And you can put them on the gable ends, and that way it'll suck it out. So suck it from one end to the other, and you're cooling off your attic. Is what it's for.
I had before I got the Harbor Freight dust collector, I just had a tiny shop vac, but I ended up sticking that over the room next shop, and it was kind of tucked behind, so like that vacuum wasn't half as loud as it was in there. But the disadvantage is you're losing whatever that conditioned air is inside your shop. Having something outside like that.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Harbor Freight dust collector, have y'all seen the new one?
No,
they've changed. I think it's they released it under the Bauer brand.
Okay,
and it has a pleated filter and everything already installed.
But it's the same exact motor, same exact
motor.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They just added the filter.
Paint it.
It just Yeah.
Add $100.
Easy. Oh yeah. I haven't even looked at the price, but yeah, it's probably $100 more. So, okay. So we're talking about evolution of our wood shops or our shops.
Mm-hmm.
I know we've all had the table saw, from the base table saw to the nicer table saws, the base band saws to the nice band saws, CNC upgrades, lasers, all that stuff. Regular power tools. So your drills, your circ saws, stuff like that. Over the years, have y'all kind of gone through an evolution in what you use as far as just your everyday drill driver, stuff like that, or do you kind of have? Did you buy a set 10 years ago and you still use that same set to this day because the batteries still work?
I started out with the 18 volt and upgraded to the 20 volt, but it's still DeWalt.
DeWalt, okay.
Because it's only because of I have a repair. Everything's right here.
Yeah,
right.
Mm-hmm.
I started off with DeWalt, the 18 volt, the old oval battery,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
mm-hmm.
and then I had a mixture. I still have DeWalt, but the majority now is Milwaukee. I went to the fuel line, and that's kind of where I'm sticking at. Some of the DeWalt stuff I have, I really don't use it anymore. Just certain things. But I've transitioned over to Milwaukee, and then some stuff is Festool, but the majority is Milwaukee.
Yeah.
That's what I've gone to.
I started with like all Bosch stuff. I'm trying to sell my Bosch like drills and sander now, but I had my buddy Mike. He started getting all these Milwaukee tools, and he's like, "Dude, look at this! I just picked this up today." And I'm like, "Oh, I love that!" And I just want, you can't have 6 different platforms because then you get a charger for everything. You got to decide
4 chargers on my wall.
Yeah, you got to decide what you want, and I got that Festool track saw, and I was kind of on the fence. I was like, do I want the battery or do the plug-in? And I ended up doing the battery. I'm so happy I got the battery. I'm really jealous of Joey with that EC
the 150
ETS sander that he got. I would have bought that in a heartbeat if that was out when I bought that sander, but I'm Milwaukee and Festool mainly is what I'm gonna drop money on moving forward, I think.
Yeah, so I started with if y'all remember them, the rigid 24 volt, which the battery itself weighed, I swear the batteries weighed 2 pounds.
Was that the one that had the mail that like plugged into the bottom? Mail off the battery.
DeWalt had those.
DeWalt had those. No, the rigid. It's similar to what they have now, where it just slides in, just slots in.
Okay.
But that was like their first dip into the lithium ion battery, and the batteries were junk.
Oh.
And they finally died, and it was for 2 batteries. It was like $500 or $600 secondhand or like rebuilt.
What?
On eBay, and in see you, Mike.
Right.
I got some DeWalt 20 volts that I've had for 7-8 years now, and love them. They're great drills, and I do have a set of the rigid. I think they're 20 volt or 18 volt that I just it was a Black Friday deal that came with the circ saw, the Sawzall, flashlight, all that stuff. But I bought it because the deal that it had a really good hammer drill. And it's always kind of been one of those things, like it's nice to have a good hammer drill around the shop.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always found myself using that DeWalt Impact just because it's lighter. But when I picked up that Milwaukee install driver, just because when you think about it, like majority of the times when we're driving screws, you're driving no more than a 2-inch screw in most cases.
Yeah.
Usually. Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't need just some big, overpowered drill. You just need a driver. And I mean, it's nice to have, if you do need to sink a 10-inch lag bolt, it's nice to have those big overpowered drivers. But I went and picked up a set of the small M12 drill driver, what do they call them? The micro or whatever, the mini drivers.
Oh yeah. The one with the interchangeable.
No. I've got that one. I've got the install driver. but it's a 2-pack. It's an impact drill and an impact driver and a drill. I can't remember what they're called.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. They take a little 12 volt. Yeah.
But it's the little one. It's only like 6 inch or like 4 inches long or something.
Yeah.
I picked up a set of those today. Just thinking, oh, this would be nice to have, but messing with it and then looking at the install driver, I was like, man, if I need an impact, I've got my DeWalt. So I'm gonna return those. But you find a set of drivers, it kind of goes back to our battery discussion a while back. I've gotten to the point where I'm either going to get rid of my rigid tools or get rid of my DeWalts. Just because, I've got 4 chargers on the wall. Like, what do I need 4 different charging platforms? Downside of getting rid of the DeWalts is I've got all those Mafel. Is that it?
Yep.
Mafel tools. So I've got their, hot glue gun and their, a couple other things that they make that use DeWalt batteries, which they make them for everything. They've got DeWalt, I think Ryobi.
Somebody needs to come out where they have the interchangeable thing where you can just have
one battery.
So you could have like a universal thing where you clip in the bottom, like say a DeWalt, and I can use Milwaukee batteries, or I can use whatever just with the flip of a switch.
I feel like they all, like their batteries, they're coded because all these batteries are smart batteries now. They're coded to their tools, and the tools know if you're using something you shouldn't be using. Yeah. Well, it's like I was listening to the 3 Splinters podcast. I didn't realize that the batteries for the Festool are Bluetooth.
Oh yeah.
And you can if you're having issues with them, you use their app and update the software on the battery, and that fixes a lot of the problems.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, one, that's kind of scary because there's a little too much technology in a battery.
Well, I mean, that Bluetooth, like when I first learned about that Festool technology, because I'm like, why does a drill need Bluetooth? Or why another tool that like makes actual sawdust? But you think about it, like I fire that tool on, the dust collector turns on. Like I didn't have to touch anything. All I did was pull the trigger to start that tool. Like when I first learned about that years and years ago, I was like, oh, that's cool.
Let's see, they could also use it to keep your batteries from working if you're like one of those guys that decides to buy a 100th anniversary track saw track and cut it in half.
Yeah, let's not talk about that monster.
So I'm going to ask y'all a question. Kind of getting back to where we were at on this. If you had to do just one thing different in your shop, what would it be?
Say that again.
Something different that you did compared to what you did now, where you're at now. And if you were to just change one thing that you wish you would have done differently, what would it be?
I would have put my flooring in before I put my tools in my shop.
Okay. Mustache?
Epoxy floor.
That too.
Like with the flakes, broadcasting the flakes on it. I wish I did that.
I third that, and I would not have put the amount of doors that I put in the shop because that killed my wall space.
Doors?
No, garage doors.
Garage doors.
I would actually just put one smaller one that's big enough to allow for my tractor to get into, and that would have been it. I would have closed off everything else and just left it wall so I can have more wall space. Because I can tell you this, you could have a big shop, and if you don't have wall space,
it's pointless. Yeah,
it's pointless. You got nowhere to put anything. Now you're going to start erecting walls.
Yep,
like I did to put stuff on.
Mm-hmm.
Why not build a wall over one of those doors if you don't use it?
Because I don't want that. Don't even get me started. This guy has already tried to do that and convinced me to do it.
Why don't you move that header? Why don't you move that header over here?
Yeah. That led into like, you know what? I'm just going to close it off, take the garage door down, and I'm going to go get metal, and I'm going to close it off completely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to make it a false. I'm not,
Yeah.
And then then that kind of just like, the garage.
Because that's what I did. I pulled a David Picciuto and I clipped the rails on, because my garage, I don't have a wide door. I have two smaller doors. So one door is inoperable. And that is now where my toolbox and other stuff sits, just because, like, why do you need? Yeah. And that's what I need to do is frame it in. And I want to frame it in and put my lumber rack on it, to move my CNC back further. But
so mine would be when I bought this shop, it was $14.99, 15 grand to buy this whole entire shop.
it's not bad.
Okay, that's the whole steel building, metal package, trim package, everything. It was 16 grand to buy one that was 60 foot long. And I decided, well, maybe that's just too much shop. I won't need that.
So would it be 20 feet longer?
Yeah.
That's a lot of square footage, though.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
That's a lot of square foot. 20 by 30 square
20
footage.
by 30. So 500 square feet.
600.
Right.
600 more.
20
2
by
times
30.
3. 2 times 3 is 6.
600. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I would have been at 1,800 square feet instead of 1,200.
Yeah.
And it was $1,000 extra. And I said, I won't need that.
Well, on the building, you taking it. Well, back then when you did the slab, it wasn't as expensive as it is now, but it would have added more cost. That 600 square foot would have been turned into a little bit more, but you should have done it.
No. Really?
Oh yeah, because
I should have done
you
it.
You never told me that part.
Of course not.
Should have done that. Should have done it. But I know Brandy was probably saying do it, and you're like, no, I don't want to spend it. I don't spend the money. No.
I'm like, I'd have to move the building over, and I already got it designed, and no, that was the reason.
I look back too, because when we bought the house, we added a 12 by 22 lean-to on the back side of the garage. Put a slab, so it's got a slab, roof, everything. And as they're doing it, I went to the builder and said, hey, what would it cost me? What more would it cost if I went ahead and had you frame it up and put the walls up? And just do that. And he came out, he said, that's another $2,000 to frame it up. And that was with matching the siding that was on my house now.
You kick yourself now, don't you, for not doing it?
Oh, I priced it out myself to do it. It's over $3,000 for me just to do it myself.
And now you have to do it.
Yeah.
To where they could have probably had it done in a day or two.
Oh, easy. And he would and the only thing he wouldn't have done is put the door in, but he would have framed it out for a door. So that's, and I'm like, God almighty. Now this is also I was also a little irritated because they almost burned my garage down while, in the process of building this. So I was kind of just done with it in the first place. But
so when they did this building, there were some adjustments done on the fly like that to be like, how much would it cost just to make the slab a little bit longer? He got out there and he measured, like, give me another $1,000 and I'll finish it out and make it wider and do all this stuff. I'm like, freaking done. Yeah. Do it. Because there's no way I could have done my money. Yeah, I mean, there's no way I could have done that for that cheap. They were already here. They had the guys here. They had the foundation people here, the equipment. It was just nothing but just frame it out and then go with it and just order a little more concrete. Yeah.
All right, so let's think about the other one that I have on my mind.
Okay,
your mindset of what it is, and please don't think this is disrespect, because it's not. Okay, from where you were about being a woodworker to where you are about being a content creator.
Oh, lighting! I would have spent more money on my lighting and got better quality lights. So I don't have to deal with flicker. I would have spent more time painting the walls and the ceiling.
Most definitely.
So, it actually You know, instead of having a half painted ceiling, I'd have a fully painted ceiling. Probably would have gone with rock wool.
You start thinking about all the things. Oh, I'm just going to do woodworking. I'm just going to do this.
Yeah.
And now you start getting into words are hard. Content creation, and it's totally different. It's not the same thing. You're no longer in it for woodworking as much as you are making sure.
Well, hold on. Don't
as much as you are making sure that you're doing the woodworking and being able to get the shot.
Yeah, because that's you when you do. I love to have windows because I like the natural. I like to be able to look out, and that's a no when you're shooting.
That's right. Mine are all covered.
That just screws everything up because then the time you decide to shoot this and film it, the freaking sun's going down, right?
Yes,
or it'll cast a shadow, and then you, like you're saying, BJ, painting it to brighten up the area because you don't freaking realize that I put up so many lights in this damn thing, and I still have shadows.
Oh yeah.
I still have shadows, and I put up a lot of light.
I did too. I have double the lights that I actually need for the size of my shop. But you want to take those nice, sexy slow-mo videos and those time lapses, and when you have those cheap LEDs. And you go to edit that beautiful slow-mo, it's like, oh, this looks like absolute trash. So now I have secondary lights that I have to get out, set up, turn off ceiling lights to run those.
Yeah.
So I'm not getting flicker. And it's like, God, this is what could have taken me 2 minutes to set up is now taking me 20 freaking minutes to set up.
But if Steve's still in here, you can. A lot of that too is having the camera set at the right frames per second to try to get away from the flicker of those LEDs. I remember I was listening to y'all talk last night, and I think you were gone already, BJ. But it brings up a good point, and that's something that what we're trying to do, what we've been talking about doing, is having somebody come in and talk about that, because a lot of people don't realize. I think if I remember listening to something, and I want to say it was on another podcast, the old boy out of Houston, can't think of his name, but he had some gentlemen on his podcast. They were talking about that. They're professional camera people and talking about setting up your cameras to try to get around that flickering of the LEDs. Because you're right. When you do that and you do a slow-mo, as soon as you go in to edit that thing, you're seeing that dang flicker.
It looks like crap. And it's like, well, I'm an amateur.
Is that John? Is it John Jacks, I want to say? Or
the guy out of Houston, forgot his name.
He was at Maker Camp. I think he works with Paul Jackman a lot.
No, but this is the guy that brought some gentlemen on. I can't remember the podcast was oh my God, I can't believe my mind. Anyhow, they were talking about that, and it was real interesting listening to those guys. So they're giving you tips and tricks how to get around that by being able to set your camera up to alleviate that flickering, because I forgot those LEDs, they'll tell you what their hertz is. It's all about the hertz, like 60 hertz, whatever. And now you got to compensate it with the camera, and you can get around it. But I mean, it's some high tech stuff, you know.
So my whole point on this and that's why I said don't get no disrespect.
No. Because we've all thought about it.
Totally difference that we were just getting into it to make sawdust and cut things and put chamfers and do this and do that, and now it's like I got to do all that, and I got to have all this lighting in there, and the sound's got to be right, and this, and if not, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, and now your project's taking you 10 times longer to do.
So do y'all ever remember Mark Spagnola when he built his dream shop in Arizona?
Yep.
How he set that shop up was for his filming.
Oh yeah, it was a film studio. It wasn't a woodworking shop. It was a film studio.
Correct.
You know, to alleviate light coming in from outside so he could get better shots, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Right. Beautiful place. I loved it. That's kind of like what inspired me, but I can't get away from not having windows. I feel like I'm in
jail.
Yeah. And it's like,
no, and there have been times where so right now, because I have 2 windows in my shop on opposite sides. And then the man door has a window in it.
Mm-hmm.
Now the man door, I tinted that window, and it helps. Now it's also under a breezeway, and no direct sunlight ever hits that window. But the 2 other windows, I've just got, it's kind of corny, but I've got pirate flags because I had a couple. Yeah, I had a couple extra pirate flags, from, the thing I was going to do for my golf cart.
Mm-hmm.
So they're hanging over it, and they're black, and they don't black out completely, but they deaden enough of that natural light to where I'm not getting the shadows. But you could go get, what are they called? Blackout curtains.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Jacks?
Oh, it was Joe Jacks. Thank you.
Okay.
Steve.
I mean, you could get blackout curtains cheap. I mean,
I've got what I did here on the shop? Solar screens.
Yeah, and we're talking about doing that for the house period, and honestly, when I go ahead and do it for the house, I'm going to go ahead and get it for the shop too.
They do help. I mean, they help keep it helps with the cooling as well.
Yeah,
it really does.
Well, and that's why I did it, because one window faces the west, and in the summertime, that side of the shop where my miter saw is at, it'll be 10 degrees warmer over there than it is in the rest of the shop, just because but putting that black flag over it, it helps.
Yeah,
it's still hot, but it helps.
Yeah, I can't remember that guy's name, Mustache from Houston. I mean, he was very well known. Woodworker. Yeah. He had Maker's Lounge was the name of the podcast.
Oh,
he was a guy.
That's remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Joe Jacks guy that I was talking about that Steve mentioned. He had like a class at Maker Camp last year or the year before, just talking about lighting and cameras, and he gave options for like plug-in ones, battery operated lights and everything. Just like you can take this light, you can put it on a tripod, or you can just set it down, light up whatever it is you're working on, and like establish like solid lighting there, regardless of what's on the ceiling. You don't have to, because like my scroll saw is back in the corner, and like I put a light over that just for me, not even to record content, just so I can actually see what's on there. And obviously, like recording with it helps.
Matt, you talking about Matt? Maker's
Matt
Voltner.
Oh, Matt Voltner.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
He brought some guys that were on one of his he interviewed a couple of guys that were on there, and man, they had some very good tips and tricks with that, talking about trying to get around that kind of stuff. Yeah, that was it.
But yeah, that's I was thinking about our different mindsets now that we have that, and if knowing that mindset now, right, of where you're at now, what would you do different?
Yeah, and it's and I've noticed, because as like we all go into more of the content stuff, there's things you do, like even here in my office, I've done things to help with sound mitigation, so there's no echo,
right?
Just putting in those horse stall mats in my shop has deadened the sound. There's no more echo in there, and I know as I continue to do more, it'll help, because there's still bare concrete in there. And that's the thing with any kind of, hard surface like that, you're getting those echoes and everything. And yeah, with the DJI mic, it actually does a really good job.
I was fixing to pull it out.
Cutting out that echo, it makes a huge difference. And even setting up, was it Matt? Was it you that was talking about doing like some kind of rail system with a camera?
Yep.
Like I would have gone back and done that. Have some kind of rail that maybe 2 of them that ran, that cut the shop into thirds, so I could have move a camera between the 2, so I can get aerial shots and stuff like that. There's a lot that if you could go back and start over and, okay, I'm going to set this up as essentially a movie, as a studio, as a film studio, not at, with, I'm filming a woodworking show, set it up like the new Yankee Workshop. It's a sound stage with a woodworking studio in it.
I think a lot of us want to have our cake and eat it too, and it's kind of impossible to try to do it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It is.
Unless you were just to set up a space for strictly shooting and then have your shop, but that's not feasible.
And you see it, like, I don't know if y'all been following David Picciuto on his latest thing. So since he's had to completely empty out his shop to level the floors, and it kind of seems like he's kind of going back to where it's, more of a wood shop. There's still the studio feel of it, but it's like, this needs to be, I need to be able to build more and do that. And I like the way his shop is set up. Believe me, if I could get away with it, I'd have carpet in my shop, but knowing me, that carpet would be destroyed. Because I'd be spilling epoxy on it. And
my ideal shop is, I like all the red stuff was just like on accident, and I've started to shy away from it, because I was kind of like red with my brand. That's what I did, red and gray, right?
What red?
Brown,
gray.
But like the stuff I'm doing now, I like those darker tone colors. I like that rustic look, that older look, like a wood shop to me should look like, right? But it's not good for filming because there's no light reflectance off it.
Yeah,
it's just
dead.
dead. It's just dead. Right? And it's kind of like, well, I want to have the best of both, but I can't. So I got to kind of pick a path. What am I going to do? And it's just one of those things, and I like that look. And to me, it's like the hell with the filming. If I'm going to have a spot, I'm going to have to do what BJ does, is just pull out lights and just do it that way.
It's not convenient, but it's part of it.
But as I evolve, kind of like, you know what I'm saying? As I evolve with this, I'm finding myself getting pulled to more. This is what I want.
Right.
I don't care about these bright colors. I don't want them.
Yeah.
I actually want to take them out because I don't like the way it looks. It looks nice on camera, but I don't like it. It's not what I want.
Are in drawers.
So hence, I guess. Yeah.
Well, that and honestly, I feel like the more stuff that you've got on the walls and in there, it does kind of take away from what you're doing, what you're trying to show. But it's also one of those things, like, people want to see what's really going on. They want to see a shop that you're working in. They don't want to see a film studio.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're right? Because hell, I built the deal where the backdrop is all my layout tools and it's all wall control. And to have that as a backdrop when you're actually filming here, but it's too busy, people will tend to look at that stuff and not actually look at what you're actually doing.
And see, I think I'm probably going the opposite direction. Is I want to get back to the woodworking portion of it and have a camera sitting above it that I can just do that. And I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and it's gonna film what it's gonna film. Yeah. And then I'll spit out whatever it does. And that's,
don't get me wrong. I like to see all that stuff. I don't know if y'all do or not, but I go and I watch people's, shop tours, because one, I get ideas, and then it's just like all the oohs and ahs, the things that they've done, and it's like, oh man, that's cool. I like what they did there. That's a good idea, Yeah,
I mean, my favorite kind of movie video to watch, with whether it's in the woodworking world, the car world, like there's a creator over in Europe, Matt something, and he takes he takes new wrecked cars that he gets for cheap and rebuilds them. But all of his videos are they're more of a vlog style. hey, here's what we're working on, here's what we're doing, and they're just kind of talking while they're working on the cars. And watching videos like that when they're working on a project, and it's kind of like you're hanging out in the shop with somebody while they're working on something. That's what I enjoy watching, because I feel like it's a little more personal. It's just us hanging out. It's not them trying to, give a lesson to a classroom.
Yeah.
If you get what I'm trying to say. And,
it's like watching them cut trees up on a sawmill. I'd sit there and watch it all day. All
day
long.
Yeah.
You're just not going to, there's such thing as trees.
A machinist. Just, you know what I mean? Watching a machinist machine art. Freaking interesting. I could sit there and watch that stuff all day long. Nothing to do with what I do, but that just interests me. I just love watching it. It's weird, but yeah.
So okay, so we're talking about evolution of our shop. Matt, you brought this up in, I think, a Friday Night Live, talking about the next tool purchase that we have.
Okay.
So let's take this one step further. Money's no object.
Mm-hmm.
You could do any upgrade to your shop right now. Shop as you have it now.
Okay.
You're not going to go out and build a new shop. You're not going to do all that. The shop you have now, if you could do any major upgrade, whether it be a tool upgrade, a creature comfort upgrade in your shop, what would you do?
Lean-to with a bandsaw mill. Period. The end.
I'll allow it.
There's literally nothing else I'm going to get. I don't want anything else. Maybe a laser, but it would be a bigger laser than what I have now. But I want a bandsaw mill, and I'm hunting for one. Almost came close to pulling the trigger a couple times here in the last week. It's gonna happen.
Wait till he does it, then Matt's gonna ship me lumber. I'm like over here, buy it.
Ship them through me first, so I can pick through it, and then I'll send the leftovers to Joey.
Well, and one of the other things is I was going to send Joey is there's a deal going on right now with tractors that it's 120 months, same as cash.
Oh wow.
120 months. I went
the way I see it, if it's a no-brainer. It's no interest, then do it. If you can afford it.
Like cash, they're holding on. You're not having to empty your account out there. They're floating it.
They're floating it, and you're making that payment, no interest. Jump all over it.
Yeah.
All right, Joey. So what's your answer?
Now I'll go last. Go mustache.
Okay. Mustache.
Stop, Matt. Stop. I can't believe she's still on there. I already got a tractor. Don't worry.
I would probably say a CO2 laser.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
DJ?
I'm gonna go.
Go, Joey. Then I'll go last.
I got my radar set, and I'll have to get rid of some stuff, and I will do it. I want, before I leave this earth, I want a Felder sliding table saw.
Oh, can I take mine back?
Because as I'm getting older, it's harder to process sheet goods, and I'd like to build, and it just makes it easier to do it with that. You have everything set up on it. In my opinion, that would be hands down would come into this shop tomorrow.
I love those sliding table saws.
And I would get rid of, I don't know if I get rid of the saw stop, but the Powermatic's gone.
Okay.
Hell, I'd probably do a raffle and just give it away as long as you come and pick it up. Not for money.
Now, if that's the case, I'll get rid of my table saw. For the Watkins, all day long. Jack what's his name? Jack English tools.
Yeah.
I figured that's what you were gonna say.
No,
is that
I would. Saw. I love that table saw. I love it. But I want a bandsaw mill. I want that more than what that table saw.
You would get use out of that. Yeah.
I do want you to get that.
I mean, I'd probably quit my job tomorrow if I had a bandsaw mill just running wood. nonstop, and I'd get my arborist license because then I could sell to all of the suppliers.
Okay, BJ.
So I'm going to be simple. I got two things that I want.
Wait.
I
You
want
said one. You said
What's the
one.
one?
You said
well, one of the
one.
two. One of the
So if
two.
we're gonna do two, then we go back
No.
around.
One of the two. One of the two.
I got another one.
Because one of them will essentially replace the other one.
Okay.
Capex miter saw. That's always been one of my dreams is to own a Capex miter saw. And get rid. I love my Metabo, but I know how much better the Capex is. But honestly, and if Harvey is listening or anybody has contact with Harvey, the slider attachment for my table saw. Because you can mount the Harvey slider. I've got everything. Like honestly, my biggest purchase that I wanted was a new drill press, and I got that for free. And
I saw that you could put that on the saw stop. I didn't realize that until I looked at it because I was looking at it.
And I've been looking at it. It's a lot cheaper than the saw stop one, and for what I've heard, it's a lot nicer than the saw stop one. In its function, in the way it works. But yeah, I would love to have a slider for my table saw. It would make things a lot nicer. So yeah.
There you go.
So yeah, if Harvey's listening and they want to send me a slider, I'll make a video for him.
Any bandsaw mill company, come on, bring.
Hey, yeah.
I'll give you free video content.
Woodmiser? Is it Woodmiser? Yeah.
I would mind a Woodmiser 140 or a Timber King.
Timber King. Okay.
Yeah.
I looked at the Timber Kings back when I had my bigger shop because there was a chance we were going to be able to start processing lumber, and I had the room for it.
A 1220. But
hell, if Harvey's listening, why don't we just get a deal going here? We can just get everybody something, and we can have an announcement.
You get a saw.
You get a saw. You get a dust collector.
I would gladly get rid of my officially now no name bandsaw for a Harvey bandsaw.
Oh, I love my Harvey bandsaw.
I have, especially their new one, but they are proud of that thing.
I don't think I could stomach that price. I love what they did with it, but God, that is expensive.
Yeah. Oh, the digital belt or blade tensioner. Oh,
yeah,
wonderful.
There you go.
So yeah.
All right. You want to go round two, or are we going to shut it? You want to go for the second
round?
Hey, we're almost at 2 hours. You want to make it an even 2 hours?
No.
Mustache he's like been wanting to go. He's like going to fall asleep. I'll say mine real quick. 16-inch joiner. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I might be getting a 15-inch Drizzly planer this Christmas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
my buddy's upgrading to a bigger one, and he's willing to make me a deal on his old one. So yeah. All right.
Well, good deal. Well,
let's shut it down,
folks. For the 12 individuals that are out there, thank you for sticking with us. It's been a long one. And just remember to head on over to the iTuners or the Spotify and leave us a review. If you have any suggestions for a topic, if you are on our Patreon and you are in Discord, we have a slot open for that. Head on over or send us an email at creativemakerpodcast@gmail.com.
Or you can reach out to any one of us.
Yeah.
Please do.
BJ's got his finger on.
Yeah. All.
So BJ will hook you up with everything you need.
He is.
Yep.
For all your questions and concerns, call BJ. That's him.
I swear.
Still got him. We tag team him.
Tag team back again.
Anyhow, if you feel it in yourself to support the podcast, head on over to patreon.com/Creative Makers Podcast and we'd appreciate it. We got some cool things coming up that we're trying to get, excuse me, underway. We're still trying to figure out all the details on it, and hopefully we can bring it to our Patreon members soon. Give them another little,
bonus perk.
But anyhow, till next week, same time, same place, same beautiful faces. We are out of here.